Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and I'll be doing a demo of the orange that you see on the screen. So I will, hello Mahjabeen, welcome to my channel. I'll wait a few more minutes before I start painting. So I'll be answering questions towards the end after I'm done with the painting. So I'll give one more minute before I start painting. Yeah, hello Mahjabeen. How are you? There's a lag, so all right, I think I'm ready to start. Let me switch the camera to, so you guys can see my palette right now. So let me tell you what's on my palette. There's Portland gray here. This is from Gamblin. I should have Viridian here, but since I'm not going to be using that, this is Viridian green by Rembrandt. But I don't have that color here right now because I won't be using that. There's Ultramarine blue by Rembrandt. This is Transparent Oxide red by Rembrandt. And you can replace that with Burnt Sienna. This is where Alizarin Crimson by Winsor Newton would go. Since I'm not going to be using that, I don't have that here. Then this is Cadmium Red Medium by Rembrandt. Cadmium Orange by Winsor Newton. Cadmium Yellow Light by Rembrandt. Titanium White by Gamblin. And Ivory Black by Gamblin. Even though it says black, it is really blue leaning. All right. So I have broken down the orange. So I'll break down the orange into dark region and the light region, as I have done in my videos, other videos that you'll see online. And the light area would be broken down into a high chroma region and a light region. And of course, this is the shadow, and the shadow would be the complement. Always try to make it the complement or bluish most of the time, and you do well. And since the light source is from this direction, I would be showing a light gradient. So it'll be really light here, the background, and it'll get darker as we move towards the back. And this is my painting surface. And essentially it's just a piece of cardboard that I have gessoed and stuck to the easel here. And I've used this material here, this tacky material, almost like plasticine, to hold this piece of cardboard to the painting surface. And I am going to put the reference drawing over here. Now remember, the goal is not to copy the orange. The goal is to catch the essence of the orange. Essentially what I'm trying to do is make an orange and get an essence so that it looks like the orange. And if I had more time, I can make it look like what it was originally. But the goal right now is to just capture values rather than chroma. Focus on values. If you have limited time, and that's what your focus should be. So let's start out by putting the outline of the orange and its shadow. So we'll start out by using the color of the orange and I'll make the outline using the orange. Again, we don't need perfection in the beginning. And here we have the shadow. I'll put the shadow in the same color, outline of the shadow, and I'll make sure that it's as dilute as possible. I don't want thick globs of the material, so let's make it so. Let's start out by putting shadows. We have a tendency as humans to make the dark as possible, and we should avoid doing that. The dark is not really as dark as we are seeing it. It has to be much lighter. So I'm getting the shadow of the orange. All right. So let's scrub this in. That is the shadow area, and we can make it slightly darker, and we can play around with that later. And let's get the shadow of the orange. So as you can see, I've taken the gray and I'm adding blue to it. And I'm trying to make it complementary, and generally, whenever in doubt, make the shadow, sorry, I didn't need this. Make the shadow bluish in color. Now let's get the background. Let's mix. And we are trying to create a gradient. So we want the color to go from dark to light or light to dark. light to dark. So I have enough paint, so I'm mixing the paint. All right, let me see if I'm happy with it. It could go a little lighter. So I'm going to mix a little more. And I'll make this a little more lighter. So I'm painting with a bristle brush in the beginning. So I'm scrubbing in all the paint that I can. So this is where bristle brush comes in handy. And I'll go in for the details with the softer brush after I have put in all the colors. Now I'll start putting in the lights on the orange. Whenever you dirty your brush by going into the wrong area, make sure to wipe your brush. So now I'm going to zoom in. It's getting I'm trying to turn the form. So now let's put in So now I'll start using the softer brush. All right. Let's start using the softer brush and focus. As you can see, there's reflected light right here. So I'll put that. Mark that here. And let's get, and you can see that little spot over here where the stem attaches to the orange. Let's mix some color for that. So let's start out with the dark color or darker color, and then we'll focus on the extremely light version of that. Even more. So it may look a little messy, but that's the idea. You are not going to focus on details. The moment you start converging and start using softer brush, the tendency is to noodle, and you don't want to do that. I'm using soft brush, but I'm being careful. The shadow right underneath the orange is darker. So let's get that down. So let's mix a darker blue and then patch up that shadow a little. The shadow looks a little blotchy, but that's okay. we are going to fix that. Let's add a little hint of ivory black, which is blue leaning. And let's add a little, I want a little bit of blue. I want this to be a little more darker. So now I'm going to use my softer brush to start and then let's remember, we are trying to capture the value, meaning how dark or light certain areas are, rather than copying the exact chroma. Because in 15 minutes or so, we have to capture the appearance of the orange. We have to capture the soul of the orange. We don't want it looking like the exact thing. Yeah. So now we are going to focus on this corner is really bothering me. So let me just touch that up a little. And as you can see, the shadows close to the orange would be sharper, but as you move away, it gets duller. So the shadows close to the orange would be crisp, but the border becomes duller as it goes away. And all right, and then let's get the highlight, the specular. So let's create yellow. Even before that, what we should do is just let's create a base of sorts here. I'll fix that later. Now let's get back to what we were doing earlier, meaning putting the highlight. Again, I don't have to copy everything exactly. So I'm going to put the highlights roughly close to what it should look like. It's not going to be exactly 100%. As you can see, I start out here and then so that the paint gets duller. I see a strong highlight right here. So we can selectively remove the edges, blur the edge so that it doesn't look like it's a cutout, so that our focus goes here. So I'm purposely softening the edges. And as you can see, I'm softening even this edge, although I don't need to. So I think I have captured the essence of the orange, meaning it looks like an orange. And again, my focus was value, not exactly chroma. So I'm trying to catch and make sure that it looks like, I'm trying to make sure that the value is as close, as faithful as possible. Putting in the details, although you don't need to put that in a 15-minute painting, it's not needed really. And this is pretty much it. I mean, if I wanted to take it to another level of finish, I could. And, you know, let me take a softer brush and smooth things out a little. Add a little more white so that I get light movement here. So I'm putting this, I'm lightening the color here. And it gets darker as it goes back. What I could do is I think this is good enough. I'll put and a few bumps and dimples. Sometimes it's good to exaggerate, so I like this tiny reflection here. It's making things pop. So I'm going to do that. I think we are good. Thank you. I think I am done. All right, thank you everyone for seeing. Much appreciated. I could continue. Tweaking never ends. Thank you everyone. Have a nice day.